Whipple Family Misadventures, Book 7, Mischief in Their Eyes, Chapter 13. Wade could barely believe his ears at what he was hearing. Any other time, he would have thought the kids were making up some kind of grand tale. But Tom was confirming what he had seen.
Wait, so you thought this guy might have been holding another kid hostage?
No, we didn't think he was holding her hostage. We just thought that there was another one like us here and wanted to go see if that was true. We had no reason to believe he wasn't a good guy.
So you thought there was another alien kid here in the hotel and decided you would just go down there and talk to them without discussing it with either of us first?
Sonic and Silver looked at each other. Behind them, Shadow was sitting up in his bed, but his eyes still held an exhausted edge to them, with a glazed look that said he wasn't fully present yet. Silver lowered his eyes.
We didn't know it was going to end badly. We were just trying to help her.
You both are very lucky. That could have gone a lot worse if I hadn't found you. Those people were smugglers. You two could have been in a truck heading for the border at this very moment.
Glancing up at Tom, Wade's eyes widened at his words, realizing what that meant. He felt a very deep urge to grab both his sons and hug them tightly, never letting go again. It was at that moment he understood why parents would want to hover and cling tight to their kids, because the world was a terrifying place. Especially to young alien children who didn't seem to fully understand how close they came to being taken away from them forever. This had been exactly what he had been worried about when they brought them here, and it almost happened.
We could have escaped.
You don't know that.
But we had to do it. We needed to help Amy, and we did.
He gestured towards the girl who was hanging on the edge of their conversation, obviously listening but not adding anything to the discussion. While they had a point, and while it was a rather good one, Wade still wasn't sure how he felt on the matter of things. But he also knew that he didn't feel right scolding either of them for going against rules to go out and save someone, while that little girl was right in front of them and could hear every word.
I'm sorry, Dad. And Wade.
For
not listening.
I'm sorry too.
It wasn't how Amy wanted to end it, but decided that it would have to be done for now, and that he would talk to his sons more later.
Alright, that just leaves what to do with her.
Glancing towards Tom, Wade didn't know what else to say.
Guess we're taking her with us?
I have a question. Where am I going? I don't know either of you, even though I'm glad you helped me. But I don't think it's good to go with strangers.
Right, that's a good point. My name's Wade, and I'm Silver and Shadow's dad. And you already met Tom. You don't have anywhere to go, right?
Amy bit her lip, shaking her head slowly.
that's why we want to take you with us.
So where? Because the last time I went with someone, it was here, and that was really, really bad.
Yes, and neither of us are smugglers who are trying to take you somewhere for profit. We're both police officers, and we live, not together, with these guys in a town about a 2-hour drive away from here. We're going back there tomorrow, and I strongly think you should come with us.
Amy looked at each of them nervously. Wade felt bad for her. The poor kid had been through a lot and was clearly uncomfortable. To be at their mercy because she didn't have anywhere else or any place to go?
To do what?
Exhaling, Wade didn't have an immediate answer. Neither did Tom.
We'll figure that out. But everyone there is used to these three. They won't be shocked or horrified by you. It's safe there. We'll make sure you're taken care of.
Really? Okay.
Good. That's taken care of. She could stay over in my room tonight, I guess. Let's get them dinner because I am exhausted.
Later that evening, Wade sent Tom a text asking if he was going to take Sonic out to get some exercise. When he confirmed that he would, Wade asked if, while they were gone, if he could use their room to briefly talk to Silver more about what happened. Wade felt bad for Shadow, who was still trying to sleep. He had a few bites of dinner and then went straight back to bed. The poor kid must have been really out of it. But as he was a very light sleeper, he was struggling and in a hotel room, especially when hiding alien kids. There wasn't anywhere else for them to go. Tom texted back that he didn't mind and would even take Amy with him as well. Putting his phone away, Wade glanced down at the gray hedgehog currently absorbed in his comics.
Come on, buddy. I still want to talk to you, and we should let Shadow sleep.
Where are we going?
Just over to Tom's room. They're not there. They went out to do something fast.
Wade said, reaching down to pick him up and carried him over to Tom's room before putting him back down. A nervous look came over Silver's face, and he shuffled his feet, seemingly sensing that part of this discussion was coming.
Are you mad?
No.
Wade said, sitting on the carpet so he wasn't looming over the little hedgehog.
But there's more I want to talk about. When you found out there was another hedgehog downstairs, why didn't she tell me about it?
I thought you would just toss to stay in the room and not go down there.
Well, that's exactly what I would have said.
But we had to save her. That's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing. Helping others, especially when they really need it, it's really good. That's not what I'm upset about. I'm proud of you for wanting to help people. But you also put yourself in danger.
So, isn't that what heroes do?
No, you are an 11-year-old. You're not ready to be doing that kind of thing yet. It should have been left up to someone who has more experience. Today could have gone really, really badly.
But it didn't, and now Amy's safe because of what we did.
And you almost got taken away from me. Do you realize that? I might have never seen you again, and you have no idea what kind of people they were taking you to. They might have been nice, mean, cruel, or just wanted to use you for their own game because you're not human.
Why?
I don't know. Some people are just mean and it's how they choose to be. That's why we wanted you guys to stay put, where you wouldn't encounter them. Because we didn't know how other people will react, and I want you to be safe. Do you know what an airplane is?
No.
I'll point one out the next time we see one. It's these big flying machines. People use them to travel long distances, like to the other side of the country in a day. Anyway, whenever you ride one, they will always give you a safety speech in the beginning. And one of the things they say is if there's an emergency, you will have to do your own safety stuff before you help someone else.
So you don't want me to help others?
That's not what I said. I don't want you to put yourself in danger when helping others, because of your age, lack of knowledge, and your own limitations. It would have been better if you had told me or Tom, and we could have gone down to help her, and the exact same thing would have happened, but without you guys being in danger, or Shadow having a meltdown.
Why did that happen to him?
I'm not fully sure. It just happens sometimes.
Are we in trouble?
Yes, you both knew you were supposed to stay in the hotel room and you didn't listen, so we're going to go back to an earlier bedtime for a while. I was going to tell both of you and your brother at the same time, but I wanted to talk to you first specifically since this was your idea. If you don't listen to me, there's going to be consequences, but back to what I was saying. Do you understand now? This is important. Explain it back to me so I know you know.
You don't want us to help if it means we get hurt badly. We should let someone else do it. And listen to you because you probably know what you're talking about.
Yeah, because I want you to be safe. I'm not making up these rules for my own fun or because I want you to be miserable. That's why I don't want you sneaking around behind my back, so you don't get hurt by stumbling into something you don't understand, like today. You need to stop and think through your wild ideas when you get them on what could happen, not just to act on them immediately. And your brother needs to stop enabling you, but that's a conversation for him.
Silver crawled into his lap.
What's enabling?
Wade frontled his ears.
Encouraging. You know I love you, right? More than anything. I'm so glad you were hurt and didn't get taken away from me. That's why I want you to know this and to listen to me, because I couldn't live with myself if something serious happened to either of you.
Hugging his son tightly against his chest, Wade meant every word of that. Ever since he had assumed responsibility for the two of them, his anxious mind spent hours coming up with all the ways they could get hurt or how someone might try and remove them from his care for whatever reason. And today, his worst nightmare had almost come to fruition.
I love you too, Dad.
The next morning was interesting. After a horrible third day where their kids were almost stolen by smugglers, neither Wade nor Tom wanted to leave them alone while they finished up the state training. Unfortunately, it wasn't like they had a lot of options. Since the last day was taking the exam on everything after days of worry and stress, Wade had no idea how much info he retained. It was decided that Wade would call in and say he had a headache to ask if he could delay coming in for a few hours. And as soon as Tom finished his, they swapped places. To his surprise, it worked. The second he finished the exam and turned it in, Wade all but ran to the car ready to get back to the hotel, check out, get all the kids into the car, and drive back all the way to Green Hills. He was so done with this trip and just wanted to get back home where they were safe, and then possibly sleep for 10 straight hours. Just like always, it was a juggling act to pack actually checking out and sneaking the kids downstairs and out to the car without being seen. When Wade got there, he found Sonic and Amy already waiting with Tom, and she was holding a comically large hammer, nearly the same size as she was. Every time she swung it around, Wade almost expected to see a cartoon bubble that said "Wemo" to appear over her head.
Where did you get that from?
I've always had it. Sonic got it back for me this morning.
It got left behind yesterday and I went to fetch it. That other guy took it away from her and she needed it back.
Sure did. And if you swing that hammer at anyone again, I'm going to take it. Ready to go? You want to drive?
Sure.
They did have a minor issue of where to put Amy in the car. Wade's car was built to seat 5 people, and the 3 car seats already took up the entire back seat. Not to mention, she was smaller than the 3 boys. In the end, they all finally put her on the floor on the back seat, wedged down with the blanket. It was literally the best they could do, and if something did happen, there was very little chance that she would go flying. Wade noticed Shadow staring at her blankly and remembered that he had been mostly out of it when she had first been introduced the day before. Amy stared back at him curiously.
You don't talk much, do you?
Shadow chose not to respond, just looking away. By the time they arrived back in Green Hills, the sun had already set. It was that period after dinner where it was still technically in the evening, but not late enough to be considered nighttime yet. The absolute relief of driving into town felt like being wrapped in a warm blanket, knowing the kids would be safe once again, now that they were back home.
My car is still at the station. Can you drop us off there?
Tom asked, drawing Wade back out of his thoughts.
I can, but what about?
Wade let the sentence dangle and jerked his head towards the back seat. Tom stared straight ahead, uneasiness written into his features.
Right. Let's set the boys inside the station for a moment and we should talk to her. I could call Maddie, but I'm not sure what she'll say.
To Wade, it seemed like the poor girl was about to become a pawn in a game of hot potato, but nodded, as he didn't know what else to do. As soon as he parked and shut off the engine, he turned to look at the 4 kids in the back seat.
Boys, you go inside, okay? We need to talk to Amy.
Are we going to be here long?
No, we just need to take care of something. Then we'll lock up and everyone will go home.
He and Tom waited until all 3 boys climbed out of the car and shut the doors behind them, slowly walking inside the main doors of the station. Taking a deep breath, Wade stared down at Amy, his mind whirling. They had to find her a place to stay, and he already knew he couldn't do it, for several reasons. He only had a 2-bedroom house, and his boys were always sharing a room. It seemed crazy to try and put a 3rd child into that room. Not to mention when she was older, she would need the privacy of her own room, and he didn't have that. Also, he loved Silver and Shadow dearly, but the 2 of them were a lot. He wasn't sure if he could physically handle a 3rd one without sacrificing his own mental and physical health, especially since he was a single parent and didn't have anyone else helping him out. And he kinda liked it just being the house of guys. Adding a girl to the mix would change everything, and he didn't know if he could actually do that, let alone want it. That left a massive issue because there was no way they could send her back, but there wasn't a lot of choices left.
What happens now?
Next to him, Tom opened his mouth to answer, but a loud, ear-shattering scream immediately joined by others came from directly inside the police station. Horrified, all men turned toward it, instantly recognizing Silver and Shannon's voices. And then Wade realized something he had missed while preoccupied with thinking about Amy. If the lights were still on, it meant someone was still there, and the only other person it could be was Eric, who also didn't know about the boy's existence yet. Ignoring everything else, Wade threw open the car door as horrible panic and fear threatened to overtake him and ran into the station as fast as he possibly could.